on Judgment Day, God was to tell people, "Are you from Nigeria? Entrepreneurs from Nigeria, come to this side," you know. And he said, "So you won't just face hell again because you are already an entrepreneur from Nigeria." So the entrepreneurs face a whole lot.
Welcome to Tech Titans, where we x-ray the lives of tech experts who are leaving their marks in the sands of time and sharing their knowledge over the years. I am Ibukun Bankole. Today on Tech Titans, we have a guest who is in the EdTech space, and I'm excited about this because we haven't actually looked into the EdTech space critically previously or had a guest in that space. I'm talking of Mr. David Oshin. He's the founder and CEO of DJT Concept. Thank you for being my guest today.
Yeah, thank you, Ibukun.
It's so great to have you here. Okay, so how did your journey start? Pretty much, growing up, how was it for you?
Okay, so my journey is kind of very interesting. Basically, I'm the first of my firstborn. So, you have responsibility to everyone's kind of looking up to you and looking on your how they play English now. So you cannot be the one that will shoulder up that responsibility and make sure you give people, your younger ones, the pathway or make them go in the right direction. So I always had that sense of responsibility. So I had this passion of trying to see how I can help people solve their problems. That passion has always led me to different spaces, and that's what actually led into tech in the first place, because I felt that maybe the only way I could help people solve their problem was using tech as a means. So growing up, that's always been like that. I studied industrial maths, so it helped me also in critical thinking, ability to solve problems, and also helping me in making. So I had this kind of calculative brain, trying to look at things in different directions, trying to look at things in so many ways, and that's helped me all along.
That's pretty interesting. So you have seemingly like an inquisitive mind to want to find out. Now, so you said something about that's what made me go into tech, but you didn't give us like intricate details. So what's that thing that really struck you and you're like, I have to explore the tech space?
Okay, so for me, the tech space was, I won't say it's an intentional journey. It was kind of an accidental journey for me. So aside other things, I'm first a Christian and I have passion for God and His Word. So I actually wanted to see a way I could spread the word more on the web. And I looked for people around me who could help me. Most of the developers were just kind of too expensive to explore. So I felt the only way I could do it and not allow this passion there was to just build something up myself. So I went through all rigorous means to kind of see how I could do it. And the first version of what I did, so we built the website, it's enotis.org, still alive today, very strong. So all of the challenges I faced and all of those things that I learned or self-taught myself through different means helped me to see that this knowledge I've grasped, I could also kind of pass it on to people. So that was when COVID-19 came and there was this kind of lockdown. People couldn't go about. So I had a friend and asked someone, okay, we could organize classes for people over the web, like through WhatsApp and all this kind of stuff. So I said, okay, yeah, I would teach. Said I would teach. I think he said, is it digital marketing or something? Someone said I would teach graphics, and I said, okay, yeah, why not? He said you can teach web. I said, oh, what do I know? He said, yes, all the things you've learned and all those kind of things you could also pass it on people. So I felt I didn't know much, but when I started teaching people, I saw the kind of interest, and I saw that this is something that if I actually put more interest into, I could help a lot of people, because I saw the need, I saw the gap. So people were longing to know more, and then from there it kind of opened up the opportunity. So that's how I started.
Interesting. Now you've been on this journey for a while now, and of course you've won several awards. I mean, global one. Congratulations on the most recent one. I've forgotten the name right now, but Global Recognition Awards. Congratulations on Global Recognition Awards.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a great one to see that Africans are being recognized for the work that they do. So how did you feel winning at that award and being recognized. What did it do for you, considering the journey that you have been through, being self-taught at some point and expanding?
Okay, so for me, the way I see awards is the little effort you're putting in is being recognized. So, you know, when you see the award, there's not really something that changes in you. You don't really feel anything. You just feel like, okay, yeah, so people actually knowing I'm doing something. Because, for an entrepreneur, the hustle and bustle of the day makes you feel like as if you're losing your mind. I think there's a joke that like Dangote said one time, like it was like, if on Judgment Day God was to tell people, "Are you from Nigeria? Entrepreneurs from Nigeria come to this side," you know, and he said, so you won't just face hell again because you're already an entrepreneur from Nigeria. So the entrepreneurs face a whole lot. So sometimes, and a recognition could just be the motivating factor. Just keep doing more. So because generally you see a lot of challenges on all sides. You always want to give up. I've had friends that will tell me, they've almost given up 5 times. So like, oh, your own is five. I've almost given up 10 times. So the journey is so a recognition just makes you feel like, oh yeah, it means that I'm what I'm doing is actually creating, it's making impact, and even on a global scale, which has always been our vision to, you know, make people ready for a global scale. So at DJT Concept, which I'm CEO, our vision really is to equip the people, a young generation, equip talents that they are able to, with technical skills and soft skills that are able to, compete on a global scale and be able to access opportunities, grab them, and combat poverty in Africa.
It's really nice that you don't what do they say now, some people, when you see the social media awards or you see the Africa Music Video Awards, you see how everybody's glammed up and excited and is gunning for it. So but it seems like for an entrepreneur, you keep what's the next thing. So as much as it gives you some kind of motivation, it's not like, I'm excited, overly excited for you, right? Because I mean, based off of the explanation you've given right now.
Yes, obviously. For I don't know, probably for maybe people in this, or maybe influencers in social media space or stuff like that. I don't know how it makes them feel, but for entrepreneurs that I've met and personally, like my own experience, it just kind of reminds me of my why. You try to look inward and see that, okay, yes, it means you're still on track. So outwardly you're excited, but there's no really excitement about it. Really, it's just more of a motivation to keep doing more, because that's all you do. You keep motivating yourself, and when there's an external motivation, it keeps pushing you on. That's just it.
All right. So let's backtrack a little. It's been a while that you've been on this journey. What are those challenges that you've been able to surmount? And some challenges, people experience some challenges and they're almost giving up. And then somehow they say, let's just try one more time. And then there's a breakthrough and on to the next challenge. So what are those challenges you faced that have helped you to become a better leader and better in your business?
Okay, so the first challenge you face is being able to communicate your vision to people, and they're able to kind of grasp it, maybe like building your team, because basically at the beginning, everyone already has, you're trying to pull them into see that there's a future in this thing, and because people are pressing needs in Nigeria, sometimes it's difficult. To tell someone that, see, there's a future in this thing, just help me kind of look at it. So, and general Nigerian challenges, Nigeria is a country that is so blessed, but you're kind of undeserved. There's so much we are not enjoying. So we talk about light, finance, electricity. Starting up is kind of very difficult, and being able to build a business also very difficult. So, but overcoming them is just persistence. You have mentors around you who keep inspiring you. You keep yourself inspired by staying in the right community. Of course, you have to trust in God. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you always envy people who are working 9 to 5. Like, see this guy, just at the end of the month, something is coming in for him. And you're always almost tempted to, like, let me just close the door. There was one time I had Alex said, oh, see, let me just go and get a job. Let me become a software developer. Let me just get a developer. But as that, there's always something that just kind of pulls you back in again. So I feel, okay, maybe at that point, then a friend just calls her, hey, David, how far? okay, this website, oh, yeah, come able to do it. You're like, okay, or maybe someone like, yeah, you want to learn this skill, and so you're like, okay, let me just try one more time. So, and you just keep trying. Before you know what's happening, something else opens up and opens up, and the journey just gets getting
Going.
interesting.
I mean, so we've had a guest previously who said that every time she wanted to give up, it just felt like God kept bringing opportunities. Like if she's about to give up, an opportunity comes, like God reminding her that it's not over. It's not over. This is where you're supposed to be. Do this next assignment and keep on keeping. So I mean, it's good to know that every time. So it's possible that every time you want to give up, just remember that there's always something else in that space. So if you keep getting
Yeah,
more opportunities along those lines, then maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. So
yeah,
yeah, thank you very much for that. Now you said something about mentoring and mentorship.
yeah.
So how did that shape your journey? Because a lot of people keep looking for mentors, but then in this day and age, it seems like it has been watered down. A lot of mentors or people who should be mentors keep saying, I don't want mentees at this time. I have to give them a list of things to do because people just want to say, oh, this person is my mentor because the person is popular and not do the work. So how did mentorship help you? And what should the younger generation, what should they be looking out for when they say they need mentorship?
Okay, so now number one, we must clear something that mentorship is so important. But the way I look at it is, I have many mentors. I start from afar, mentorship from afar,
Okay.
because most people don't have that time to tell them, okay, come and mentor me. They don't have that time because they don't even want to know. The first thing is they give you gap to make. They want to know if you are really serious about it, or you're just trying to just, yeah, this burst of passion that just maybe you just heard from them and you want to. So mentorship from afar, observation is so critical. So if somebody is your mentor, observe a whole lot, follow them on all their platforms. You know, listen to their podcast, listen to everything they do, be there at their programs, their events, be there, show up at every of their events, understand, read all of their books, just make sure so that you can be able to catch their mind and their mindset really. So once you start following someone like that, there's this art connection. Before you know what's happening, once you meet them, it's like you've known from a very long time. So mentorship from afar is very important by observation. I think the critical thing is observation. Start observing what makes them what makes them successful. What do they do? And that's most times you see mentees are very lazy. They just believe that there is one overnight success formula that happens, and mentors hate it because they want you to know there's a process and they want you to feel the process. That's why they want you to earn that respect, like earn
Oh,
that
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 relationship.
relationship. That's the word. Yeah. So they want to end the relationship. So ending it means that if, for example, you're following someone over the past 2 3 years, and you don't even mind you've not met the person, but you consistently follow the person, no, it tells you that there's something you really want to learn. So mentorship is so important, but you have to start by observation, critically understanding their mindset, how they think, their values, how they process their thoughts. What are the things they keep as maybe in terms of priority, what are their priorities, and all of those things helps you to also shape your own self. And before you know what's happening, with the right mindset, one of you are already thinking alike. Because I've always told people, as a podcast was one of the privilege I have is to be able to talk to people, influential people. And the first thing I try to observe is their values, their mindset, the way they think, and how they see things. So important. And this kind of helps me to also shape myself. And because, you know, within the first 3 minutes of talking to them, if you can't get their attention, you can't get their attention again. So it means that you must first be a person of value for you to attract value. So most times people feel like mentors don't have their time, but mentor is first looking for that value. So once the value connects the value, I think everything will just connect.
So be a person of value to
Yes,
attract value.
that's the most
Wow.
important thing.
Did you catch that? All right. So now you said something still around mentorship, pretty much. That okay. So people need to tap the minds or get into the minds of whoever they want to be mentored, and that's very key for me because, like I said earlier, many people just want that affiliation to that
Yeah,
person without really learning that thing that really they should be good. They
yeah,
should learn. So thank you so much for that. Now, speaking of tapping into their minds,
yeah.
what are those things, or what are your guiding principles that have helped you through your journey in leadership, in growing your company, even with building your podcast as well?
Okay. So there's something we call pride. Those are our values. We call it pride. That's a passion, relationship, integrity, diligence, and excellence. So we put it up in the office, pride. So the first thing, when I see a young person, a young talent, someone comes to me and say, I'm saying you don't want to learn this thing. The first questions I ask you are around your passion. I want to see, is this something that you just picked up from somewhere, or is something you really are passionate about? So on the hierarchy, passion is so important because passion is the driving force. Then relationship is so key because if you're meeting today, we've created a relationship, and relationship can bring so many business opportunities and love. So people are missing a lot from relationship that they can build through networking, through relationship is so important. So relationship, we I actually guide relationship a lot, and I make sure that um, I study people a lot, right? So that I keep relationship as much as 10 years, 5 years. We love people and don't have any issues because I know the power of relationship. Like I tell people, I said, this our world is so small. Basically, in Nigeria, you are like in a forest. Everybody's just trying to get out. So if there's only one entrance out, we cannot be fighting ourselves. It doesn't make any sense. So relationship is very important. Then integrity is so of every business. Without integrity, you don't have any business at all. So, like when I started, there's something Doctor, what's his name again? Okay, I'll remember his name. He said that the first capital you have as a business person is a social capital. So you don't have money, you don't have any social capital, and all about integrity. So we see, I don't have money, but you are sure that if you give me anything, I'm going to deliver it as at time, and as if you're going to have any issues, you can go and sleep. So integrity is so important. Then obviously diligence. Without diligence, you can go far. Then excellence. Excellence is the icing on the cake. So in Africa, we underplay excellence because we always just want to do something just to earn money. But it's excellence that will actually take you to meet with kings, meet with people of value, and all of that. So pride is basically our core values. We revolve around pride, and that's what has taken us to this point. Still taking us because we are still, if you say we want this, we are still seeing ourselves as very young because yes, the landscape is so wide, opportunities are so vast, and there's a lot we can do.
Speaking of opportunities, now you've been hosting your podcast for a while, speaking to different influential persons. Over the time that you have been doing that, what are the key things you have learned? Because I'm sure, as you say that, tap into their minds. You've already tapped into the minds of a lot of influential people that you've interviewed. So what are those key things that you have gained that would add value to the lives of any young tech entrepreneur or any young tech enthusiast out there?
Okay. So, like I said, the privilege is, I appreciate the privilege to kind of meet love, and I've learned a whole lot. Within the space of the time I started the podcast, I've seen so many transformational changes in my life because I believe the podcast is first for me, and because the whole vision for the podcast is when I talk to these people, there's so much I'm learning. I can't learn this all alone. People have to hear it. And I tell them, sir, please, is it possible we have a podcast so people can, because when I meet people, I'm naturally someone, like I said, I'm an inquisitive person. I ask questions a lot. Without even having a podcast, everybody I meet is already, from meeting you, I'm already interviewing you. You can even ask them
Yes, I know immediately.
Immediately, I start asking a lot of questions. So when I see the conversation is so rich, I say, sir, is it possible we have a podcast? Because I want people to also hear these things. Now, personally for me, I see that a lot of young people need to understand that values are so important. And that's one thing that can take you very far. What are your values? Because we are in a generation where people don't, is it incorrect to say people don't value values?
That's nice.
And your values is your real person. That's your real person. So when I talk to these people, I try to understand where they think, what are they thinking, where are they coming from? And you see the fact that it's their values that has taken them to where they are currently. And funny enough, many people think that the people who are privileged to have achieved so much don't want to share their ideas, but that's not true. So when I talk to these people, they are willing to talk. They are willing to share everything they've actually learned all along the way. So I just like sometimes see myself as a bridge, like let me be the one to be able to connect these people who are willing to share and the people who are willing to learn. That's the word. Willing to learn. So a lot of people are not willing to learn. And that's why uh, they are not willing to share. Because like Bishop Oyedepo will always say, he said, God is not going to reveal anything to you if you're not ready to hear. So some people say I don't catch any revelation. It's because they're not even in the first place willing to even learn anything. So if there's a willing heart, there's always a teacher out there. So these people are willing to share. So it's something I learned. They are willing to share so much information. They are concerned about your values. They are concerned about and how you process your thoughts. All these things are quite important. And okay, Dr. Akinpelu is someone I respect so much. I interviewed him. Now, his story itself just shows a whole lot how someone can come from someone who was hawking pure water, selling from a very low background to become someone on Forbes Coaches Council. So, talking about personal development, talking about the ability to, you know, relationship, connect with people, then keep yourself small in your eyes. Always be willing to learn, equip yourself, and these are principles that can, help anybody.
Just, I mean, a lot. There's a lot that you have said. I mean, equip yourself, be willing to learn, values. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Now, speaking of values and willingness to learn. Now, this question popped up in my mind when you said that people are not, or young people are not willing to learn. Would we blame maybe the internet, social media? And this is why I'm asking this. There's a before now, as at 2015, I think attention span was like maybe 5 minutes, and it kept dropping and it kept dropping. And it seems like providers of these opportunities to learn are reducing it so that you consume way more content, and your excitement is short-lived.
Yeah.
And so if I want to learn from you and you're talking deep stuff, my brain has zoned out and I'm moving on to other things. So what exactly is responsible for it? Because I feel like back in the day, it wasn't that hard. People were willing to learn and sit down. I mean, beyond the tales by moonlight days, but people wanted to find someone to help them to learn. And in this day and age, it's a whole lot easier. Like you said, learning, mentoring from afar, it's a whole lot easier. But then it seems like attention span is too short.
So now, the cost of the attention span that is being short, or what? That's what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Okay, so generally, I believe it's possible that, let me not say, it's possible that Nigeria factor is there. Our economy makes people feel like there are other alternatives. And they believe if they've been hearing from, they see, there's social media influencers do a lot to young people. So they feel the traditional path is kind of too long for them. There's just something they can do and blow. So blow is the word that makes the attention span very short. So if you're talking about a success story that has to be more than 6 months, they're already thinking it's too far. I want something that I can just put on TikTok and blow within 3 days. So so those are factors. So I think let me start with the word. Donald Trump said something, and I think it stuck with me. He said the icon of any nation matters. So if the icon of a nation is a doctor, everybody wants to become a doctor. If the icon of a nation is a politician, everybody wants to become a politician. If the icon of a nation is a terrorist, everybody wants to become a terrorist. And if the icon of a nation is, for example, someone who does scam and becomes a billionaire and is envied by people, that's what everybody wants to become. So it can be a societal issue. It can be the perception of the way society is being perceived. So these things are factors that makes people feel like as if they don't really have to do much to be able to succeed. But I think it's important people to learn the fact that success still has principles. and they are foundation to success. So you can't skip it. You cannot skip it. It's just the truth.
There's just a process and you just have to
You
follow
just have
it.
to follow it.
No
Just that. There's
shortcuts.
no shortcut to success.
But I mean, all the crypto magnates, well, let me not call them magnates, but people who cashed in on crypto early and somehow just made the money. They say, no, but I made the money. But well, making money is not exactly success, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
and also if they will also tell you the story, it didn't happen overnight also. Yeah, if they are going to tell you, it's just the success story that actually is happening overnight. The road to the success story doesn't happen overnight.
like it's just the way they say you plant a tree and you have to dig deep to see how deep the roots of the tree,
Yes,
how deep the roots are. So for you to know that, oh, it's not just how beautiful
yeah,
it is on the
it's not,
outside.
it's not.
All right. So what would you like to be remembered for? What's your legacy? What, like, so, like they always say on the epitaph, what would you like written? Oh, this man came, lived, loved, or I mean, how would it be for you?
Okay, for me, it's a combination of so many. Um, I'm a person that believes in values a lot. I'm a person that believes in the Word of God. Christian. I believe also in relationship, and I'm a person that actually believes in marriage also. Yeah, I have a very beautiful wife.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I believe in family. Yeah, because I believe the whole problem we are facing currently as a nation is a family problem because we are all extensions of families. So, I've seen parents. It's funny enough that a parent came to me and told me that there's a training center she went to, and the training center asked the mother that, "What do you want to learn?" He said, "Computer training." He said, "Is it the computer training or the other one?" And she was wondering, okay,
Oh,
so there are children because he wanted to be sure what the parent is bringing the child for. So it means there are parents that actually bring their child and tell them that,
to
oh,
learn those things.
come and teach my child these things. So it tells you that sometimes it's the way a child is raised and the love and affection in the family matters a lot.
Oh.
So for me, I think how will I now make all this to be in one word? Um, Okay, for in the edtech space, I want to be remembered as someone who raised a generation of talents who are focused not just on their technical skills, but on their soft skills. And why am I saying soft skills? Because I've met a lot of talents. Many talents don't have communication skills. They are very good, but they can't communicate. They don't know how to. They don't know emotional intelligence. So, working with them can be a whole hell. Very good, very sound, but you can't work with them. you know. So, in my emphasis, soft skills for young talents is so important because we are raising the people who actually will come and represent us in the future. And so it takes a whole lot of them to be emotionally balanced together with their skill so that they don't just learn small. Because most times, most young talents are always thinking they know more than the owner of the company. They just know everything. They can't be talked to. You can't, what do you know? And stuff like that. All right. So, and I also want to be remembered as someone who loves God and raise a generation of people who have values with their skills. So that's me.
I mean, two things I'm taking away: values, and your love for God. You've
Yeah.
said talk about it along the way. So thank you so much for being my guest today, and it's been a fun interview. Getting to look at the idea that values are important. So truly, values are important. Your value is important. Be a person of value, then you can attract value,
Yeah.
as you have said,
Be a
and
person of excellence and attract excellence.
be a person of excellence and attract excellence. So that is how I'm going to leave it with you today. Please remember, be a person of excellence so you can attract excellence. My name is Ibukun Bankole. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Titans today. I'll see you again in another episode. Bye-bye.